Do childhood bullies ever feel regret when they become adults? I've heard that at least some do. But you don't hear much about it. And my impression is that it is extremely rare. One of my elementary school bullies is now a wellness guru, and on her Insta she talks about how she was bullied as a kid. We were only at the same school for a few years, so it could definitely be true that she was bullied. And I just didn't see it. But the irony did make me laugh out loud when I read that. Sometimes. At my 10-year reunion, I had the school bully apologize to me. I called a girl ugly in 2nd grade. Tripped a fat kid in 4th grade. Definitely regret it. I was a little shit for that BC. I did that crap for cheap laughs. My high school bully reached out and apologized to me about 2 years ago. 10 years after we had finished school. I feel like it does happen. It just isn't broadcasted for everyone to see. All my bullies conveniently forgot they bullied me. I encountered my child bully in my hometown in the middle of nowhere maybe 5 years after graduating. And he asked me for $5 to go to the store to buy something to eat because he needed the money. I don't know what this says about regret, but it was sad. And I gave him $5. A guy contacted me on social in our late 30s and apologized for how he treated me. Honestly, I thought he was nicer than the other kid he followed. And I didn't harbor any resentment toward him. I was kind of a dick as a kid. Never really targeting anyone but not knowing how to get along and be nice. I hope the people I unintentionally hurt feel that way about me. I haven't been able to find any that I could think of. But I live my life trying to bring comfort, peace, and love to everyone I can. I'm not trying to make up for anything. I've just changed as a person. My middle school bully apologized to me in our 20s. Told me it haunted her and she doesn't know why she was so horrible to me. I still think she's a bitch though. I was bullied, then I became a bully. Yes, I feel regret. Speaking for myself, I vividly recall bullying a couple of younger kids only because my bully was standing there, initiating it. This would have been like 1978 and I still feel bad about it. I had a work bully apologize to me and say how much he regretted it after 9 years. Does that count? I went back for a high school reunion and a dude told me it was their worst memory when I tripped them in the hall. I don't remember tripping them at all. Sometimes. People definitely grow. Though I've also seen high school bullies refine their craft and master it in the corporate world. I apologized to a bunch of people. I didn't even realize I was a bully, and at like 15 I was like, dude, you were mean for no reason. Then reached out to people to apologize. Then realized I was still a dick a few years later. So did it again. My childhood bully became an influencer and made a big deal out of body positivity and anti-bullying while not addressing the fact she was the bully that bullied people about their bodies. So no, I don't think she regrets anything and exploits it to make money online. My younger brother was honestly my bully. Nothing harsh, I don't think. But he told me a couple months ago he feels awful about it. Depends on their own personal growth. But yeah. There's one bloke who gave me a hard time in high school. His life has gone down the toilet. Addicted to drugs and in and out of prison. I can't help but smile. I know that's not right, but it's just how I feel. I think most bullies never realize what they were doing was bullying. I used to be kind of a bully. Hurt people. Most of us grow up, physically and emotionally. My dad bullied us and I'm certain he doesn't regret it. In fact, he justifies it. I had to do it to make you better people. It hurt me more than it hurt you. That's how narcissists are. That's why if you spot a narc in your life, run far away. This isn't just with narcs. But people tend to justify their actions to make themselves the good person. There was a bully in my high school that bullied everyone and got away with it because he was a teacher's kid. He would push people, steal lunches, broke one kid's band instrument, and his favorite thing to do was tell his mom, the teacher, that some other kids were bullying him, so she would give them detention. At the class reunion, he tried to be buddy-buddy with people he bullied and people would ignore him. He left halfway through. IDK if he regretted it, but to my knowledge he never apologized either. I wasn't a bully, but we had a fat kid that was severely bullied and picked at in elementary school. And I wasn't doing anything to protect that dude. It was the opposite by the time I found it kind of funny. I regret not doing anything to help that kid now. But little kids are assholes and their moral compass hasn't developed fully yet. Kids do stupid things. I was a real asshole to a guy during summer camp when I was like 9 to impress another asshole. Still think about that single instance 38 years later. Yes, I'm autistic and I used to group myself with the popular kids who would pick on the other more autistic presenting kid. It made me feel normal. I often feel very guilty about it. In my case they do. I found out eventually most of them did it because something shitty was going on in their lives. Everything from molestation to parents dying of cancer. People often forget that bullies are children and most times don't understand what they are doing is wrong. 2 of my bullies reached out to me on socials and 1 apologized in person. So I think some of them do. I think it usually happens when their mistreatment of others causes a big enough negative impact on their lives that it forces them to reevaluate and change how they act. Bullies who continue to skate consequence-free, and it sucks, but that's many of them just keep going emo. My bully from high school is now a life coach. I hope she does. Because she was absolutely awful to me. And was a major source of my she's never reached out. Not that I would ever respond. I was severely bullied to the point where I wanted to end the bully's life. 20 years later I still had nightmares over it. I found out where he lived and mailed gorilla shit to him. There's several companies out there offering this service of mailing different types of animal shit legally. I have no idea how it was received and a part of me doesn't care. It was thoroughly cathartic though, and I enjoy the fact that I must have embarrassed him in front of his wife and kids. Yes, absolutely. I thought so highly of myself. And I would do anything to give them a hug and tell them I was a boss. I can't forgive myself for the way I acted. My brother was my bully for years. He would beat me up, and when I got too strong for him he started playing head games and telling his friends wild made-up stuff about me so they wouldn't talk to me. He killed himself last year after I confronted him about his behavior and told him to get over his self cause he thought he was better than everyone else, than that they all needed to give him free money and drugs. Once all his drug pals realized he was a bum, they stopped coming around. Yes. And they do apologize at the end. If you manage to get over it and have a nice life later, they are the ones suffering more than you. Guilt is a shitty thing. I mean, I met one dude years after school, like 10 years, and he apologized for how he treated me. I'd forgotten. It honestly wasn't bad, other kids were way worse. But I guess it must have weighed on him enough to say something upon randomly meeting again. I stared down the sob at the 30th. He knew. F him.